Good evening. Welcome to UncleYap's talk show. Today is 5th of May and it's the last day of Singapore General Election 2011's campaign days. Tomorrow is the cooling off day. So I have here Mr. Alex Tan, candidate representing Reform Party in Ang Mo Kio GRC, and Mr. Arthero Lim, also candidate from Reform Party representing in Ang Mo Kio GRC. And the rally for today is not on, and I will let Mr. Lim explain on this matter.
Good evening, everybody. The original scheduled rally at Kang Stadium has been called off by the Reform Party itself, and as for the reasons, it's best that the party come forward in the later stage to explain its stand and its decision. So Alex, from what we have gathered so far in the last 1 week and the walkabouts, we have arrived at a point that we have to address, and it's our duty today to explain, to make use of this occasion to address the electorate in Ang Mo Kio GRC, to present them our ideas and to address the issues. Now we're going to make on two levels.
Okay.
I think most of the issues concerning Singaporeans, affecting Singaporeans, first is on the across the board, the national issues. As you understand that many people are concerned about the cost of living, the high cost of living, the
influx of foreigners,
influx of foreigners, the
HDB prices,
CPF,
so on and so forth.
So firstly, we shall talk on this.
Okay.
Now let's start with the. We want to talk about
before we hear from the walkabouts.
Okay.
So actually for this campaigning period, from our walkabouts, from the residents that actually hear from them, actually the number one top concerns is actually the cost of living. And as most people are especially peeved with the GST increase that was implemented in 2007, just 1 year right after the general election of 2006. So basically for this GST increase of 2%, the following year of the budget, we actually seen a huge increase in our actually budget. Where we see a huge surplus. The huge surplus is not really it's not completely attributed to the GDP growth, and actually quite a large number, quite a large amount of it actually come from the GST increase.
And no, Alex, let's see. Now the PAP government has explained that the implementation of the GST is to help the poor.
Okay.
Now, can we examine this? How true is this GST helping the poor? Because if we assume this is right, then because of the surplus from the GST collection amounting to a huge amount of money, and how come that the poor people are complaining about the high cost of goods, essential goods especially, and things are getting more expensive, life is getting harder. Now, so I don't understand the rationale for PAP by telling, pushing up the GST, increasing, and not addressing the real problems on the ground. So this is it. Now, cost of living could come in many ways, directly, indirectly. Now that reminds us of, I think Dr. Balakrishnan one time was speaking in Parliament when I think one other MP was talking about the plight of the underclass,
the public assistance recipients actually.
Okay. Now public assistance recipients are only getting about $200
$290.
And now has slightly increased
to 360.
Now I think an average person down and out, people who turn to public assistance are the down and out class, the underclass. And if they are told that they can survive on $200 a month, per person,
per month.
And if this is true, then why are our ministers asking to be paid millions a year? They think they have got bigger stomachs.
One thing that we have to realize that basically for this public assistance recipients, number one is basically the allowance they are getting is definitely not enough. Secondly, about the qualification of being a public recipient. So basically the government actually recently they actually they released these statistics that more than about 50%, about 50% of the applicants for this public assistance have been denied.
Under this scheme, they were
they actually
down.
turned away. They actually turned away because of their conditions.
Now, even I think we claim that we have surplus with high GDP growth.
Double-digit GDP growth.
Now that we have the casinos, we are reaping very good profits. And how's that we do not allocate a fund to help these underprivileged people, helpless people who need help desperately? Because some of these people, they don't know who to turn to. And once they turn down, they literally have no avenues for
I think I would place higher emphasis basically on the elderly poor. Many of them actually are now on the streets, going from bus stops to bus stops, picking up tin cans and
I have seen this.
I think it's a common view, common sight nowadays.
It's getting worse because many are turning to selling tissues now. Correct. Centers and now I think Alex, I want to bring to the point that we our Ang Mo Kio GRC team, we in fact have this. We have worked out the 5-year.
We have actually worked out a 5-year plan.
Now under this, we have even proposed that then we have something for the underclass, the underprivileged people, right?
We felt that basically the town council, the Ang Mo Kio town council, has to be responsible for the destitutes in his in the constituents. I mean, they may not be from Ang Mo Kio residents, but ultimately they are still in your constituency. You ought to be responsible for them.
We want to examine why this special underclass have emerged now. In bigger numbers. I think could it be due to the influx of workers coming to take their jobs away, and then depriving our locals of a job. Now people in their middle age, especially even older age and elderly, have been forced to work for $600 a month as cleaners,
in fact for longer hours and shorter and lesser pay.
And this is certainly not right, because we cannot claim to be first world when our citizens are
living in third world conditions. Correct.
And only our ministers live above the first world.
But even with let's just say $600 or $750 cleaners pay, we can imagine the type of quality of life they're actually enjoying right now at this point in time. What can $750 do for you? Is it enough for you to feed a family?
Not even. Even for one person alone. Now, even given the long hours, the hardship, and the lack of dignity. Now, a person alone, you have to pay some rental, no matter where you stay, unless the government can provide free lodging, which is not forthcoming. Now, we think about that. If a person under such working conditions would have to bear, he has to take better food to keep himself, healthy to do that job.
Otherwise, you'll be. You end up sick.
Sickness. Now, talking about sickness.
Now, medical costs in Singapore.
Then you go into another area of problems. And as you get older, 生老病死. Now, this 病 is a terrible thing. When you are sick, you then involve in having to pay for your medication, medical care. Now, do we have a comprehensive health care scheme to look after these people? Or did the government come up anything very positive? Now we talk about a lot of chunk of money going to MediShield, MediSave, now MediFund,
the 3 M's, that's what they say.
Now how are we going to talk about this? Now, how are we going to address these people? It's not by choice that we want to fall sick, but when you're old, you tend to fall into...
There ought to be a social safety net, or could I say a better medical healthcare system, basically to actually accommodate our people's needs. Because right now at this point of time, with the existing MediSave, MediShield, and the MediFund, there are still many Singaporeans out there who are not able to fork out the medical bills and land themselves in huge debts.
No. There's one special class that you do not fall into this unfortunate group, underprivileged group. I heard of that can get one operation for $8.
Oh, $8. Okay.
Is it true?
I don't know. Some
heart transplant or whatever.
Heart bypass surgery.
But this is a special class. So if somebody can qualify for that class, of course, life is easy.
But I don't think anyone is going.
But I don't know about other areas about this. This aside, I think the Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, recently apologized for the slip-ups, the many...
he apologized for the
negligence,
flooding,
yeah.
the not many Masalamat and this flooding only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about the real problems affecting the lives of Singaporeans? Did he make an attempt to address this, to apologize for the negligence?
The bigger issues, I think.
Yeah.
Because I would think that basically his apology this time round, I mean for the flooding, okay, to be honest, it's not really his fault. Of course, I mean ultimately we got to blame the town, the town councils for the drainage system and so.
No, not only town council. I think Singapore is only in the context of Singapore. It's only a small island, a small city, and which the MMDs mentioned is not even a country. And then he add in yet, and then So we have not yet arrived as a country. Now, despite all the 40 over years under the PAP government, it has claimed to be first world, but it has not laid claim that it has arrived as a country.
As a country, yeah.
The cohesiveness, the harmony, and all the factors that necessary, the attributes to making a country is not happening. The sense of belonging, the soul is lost.
Meaning the elements are not there.
Elements are not there.
There are no founding fundamentals for this country.
Who to blame? I'm going to blame each time the PAP government will point the finger at the citizens. You are deaf. You are ignorant. We're supposed to do the policeman's job. When Mas Selamat escaped, and then the negligence part is that the onus is on us to be more.
I still remember the report on Straits Times where they said that Singaporeans are getting more complacent. Complacency. Yeah.
So we are everything but not competent. We are not efficient except for ministers. So this is only a very small group.
Okay.
So they are only admitting to the nitty-gritty, the smaller things.
Correct.
Of course, if we don't blame them for acts of God that they claim that flooding. Flooding, yes. But flooding is also a drainage problem.
Yeah.
Now you talk about infrastructure. You spend billions on infrastructure. Time again, you upgrade, you build this, you build it.
In fact, Singapore, we pride ourselves for having a world-class infrastructures, which is why we are attracting all the businesses coming in. They don't expect to see a flood in first of Singapore.
Now this is the last thing to happen, because if you're talking about water,
right?
Now I want to ask the PAP government, do you have the infrastructure for 6.5 million?
Million, 6.5 million population.
Right. Now given that the size cannot be expanded, no land, you cannot reclaim, because when you reclaim land, you still need a 20-year period to lapse, before you can actually build.
We are actually landlocked in a way.
Now when you say that you've got 3 over million people, it may be comfortable. You're talking about cars, you can own, the ownership of cars, public transport, everything may be just nice. There's an optimum usage. Now you go beyond that, it becomes inconvenient to travel, having to squeeze your way to work and rush hours.
There's no breathing space and privacy.
The quality of life is totally lost. Now we don't want the next generation to grow up, feeling alienated, feeling to be displaced by the foreigners in terms of jobs, in terms of the enjoyment of facilities, amenities. Now, why is the PAP government doing this to our own citizens? Especially you, Alex, you've been young. You have served national service. Now, your sacrifice has to be factored in. Your contribution to Singapore. Now, ask whether the same is expected from the foreign youth coming to Singapore to study or to work. No, right? Okay. You know about foreign students coming here, they are entitled to 80%, up to 80% subsidy. You go to Nanyang Polytechnic, you go to the Republic Polytechnic, you go to the Nanyang Fine Arts, it's the same problem. They get this privilege, you don't. Okay? So what are we going to do? We want to make sure that Singaporeans must come first. And Alex, I want to ask you, as a young man, now you stepping into society, into the corporate world, how do you see yourself? Are you full of anxieties? Are you uncertain about your career path?
I believe that basically I believe I can speak for those young working adults.
That's important, yeah.
Okay, number one, I think insecurity, whether in areas of employment, or income, or even let's just say our healthcare system, it's always there. We always feel the insecurity. We do not. There's too much uncertainties out there.
Okay.
Most of us
too many of these uncertainties in terms of jobs, opportunities. Now that would then lead you to think, why should I do all this for Singapore?
In fact, most of my friends who actually they are fresh grads, they work into they just got their degrees and their diplomas. They actually started off with contract jobs.
That's why it's a year by year thing.
Correct. It's not year by year. Some is maybe a 3-month contract, 6-month contract, 1-year contract. And these contract staff are normally their pay is not fantastic as compared to the full-time staff. And secondly, their benefits, the benefits they should be getting is normally on a discounted rate. And most of them actually they don't have a leave of their own. They have to take unpaid leave. If they want to take any leave.
So you feel that you've been Singaporean, you feel shock change in a way. Okay.
I don't feel we are.
Okay, that's a fact.
That's
I want to ask you a more important question. Now the government, PMA government is encouraging more people to get married, to have babies. Now you are in the category of people who would set a family, who produce babies. Okay. Now you are 23.
Okay.
Now I want to ask you, do you feel that you are able to do what the PAP government expect you to do? That is to marry at a certain age, young, in the 20s, and then buy a house or get a home, set up a family. Are you able to go into this, or you have reservations?
I wouldn't give you a confident yes.
Why?
Very simple, because let's just say even if I were to buy a house right now at this point of time, I still have to take up a 30-year loan. There's no company that can guarantee my employment throughout my life.
Okay, and so you feel insecurity.
Correct. A job unemployment. Unemployment is very real in Singapore. In fact, underemployment is even more real in Singapore.
Okay.
We've seen so many degree holders driving taxis nowadays.
I came to know one who was an engineer. Frank's friend. He was an engineer before that, and then he's now driving taxi.
Correct.
This is something that is shocking.
I believe most Singaporeans who have talked to taxi drivers before. They used to be PMETs. They are used to be professionals in their own
industry.
Either
retrench or
they were retrenched and even underemployment. Now that's one thing. Then basically, let's just say if I were to get married, number one I have to consider is basically the cost of living. There's no running from away from that.
You can live cheap, but you still need a house.
No, I don't talk about the living part yet. I talk about the marriage itself. Just to hold a wedding banquet. We are Chinese, we need to hold a wedding banquet. I think the smallest amount of even after minus factoring in the angpao money we still have to fork out at least 25k to 30k upfront just for a small wedding.
Then you can do it cheap. You can just go and sign the papers and then you have 2 tables and settle.
And I think for Singapore males, we have to be realistic. Most Singapore women, ladies, they would prefer to have a man who is more to provide for them. So let's just say, I normally have this discussion and conversation with my male friends. Normally they will go like this, say, you have no car, then why bother having a girlfriend?
So they're usually hesitant to set up a family.
Because expectations in today's society is very, very high. So there's no running away. It's not because I wouldn't blame the Singaporean females for they are not materialistic. It's very natural. If I'm a female,
feel secure.
I want to have
stable income to provide, to make provision for family, for children.
It's a human instinct. It's very natural. It's perfectly alright.
Now I want to talk about. Now there's a special class of people who are so-called singles. Now, like yourself, you may be hesitant to get married at this stage, and you postpone, you defer your marriage till such time that your career is stabilized, till such time that you earn a comfortable income.
By the time I get married, it's already 40 years old.
But then do you need a roof? Are you going to stay with your parents until you get married, or you still want to have your own space?
Definitely, I think most for myself, I would want a house of my own.
Now these special people, I think from the feedback, they're asking if the government can provide them cheaper housing, the affordable ones, that they can be alone, that because they choose not to marry young, but they still need to be alone into having their own little house.
For singles.
For singles. So we want to make sure that this can happen.
But basically for when when we touch on housing for singles, I would like to emphasize basically on this housing rule of no Singapore. I mean, actually, nobody are able to nobody is able to purchase a house of his own below the age of 35. I feel that is very unfair, especially when you're a Singaporean male who have served a national service. Because to be honest, I've ever checked with this Chinaman before. He used to serve in the Chinese soldier. I mean the army, Chinese army.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the soldiers over there, they are given a house. They are given pension.
Yeah.
They are very well taken care of. Compared to the conscripts in Singapore, it's totally unfair.
I lived in China for a while, and then because of a legal case and all that, and I had to stay there to fight the legal.
So basically,
I understand that China, they have a system different from us, but they're more secure.
Correct.
Because of the situation that in China, maybe because they have plenty of land, I don't know. But it is a guarantee of a policy that will ensure that the pension is there to see them through their old age, their retirement. I know a lot of old folks there, they don't have to act as double as cleaner in their old age or doing hard labor. So they can actually, their only duty is to bring their grandchildren out every day, spend time with their grandchildren. They have dignity of life, quality of life. Now, if anything goes not too well in the cities, the only fallback thing is they can go back to the rural side, the countryside.
The rural areas.
So quality of life is there. Okay. The essential things, the food items are controlled by the state to tell them no price hiking for essentials. Now the Chinese government, you say the communists or what?
The PAP are doing that right now. The PAP are doing that right now.
There's a copy lah. Okay. I don't know.
They said they will hold the food prices for 6 months in the coffee shop.
Election time maybe.
Election time.
For election period. That's why I think PMD also recently apologized.
Actually, sorry. Before I actually go into that, I would like to bring out the basically housing for single parents as well. Because nowadays actually
divorce is quite common.
Divorce rate is very high because largely I believe it's due to financial difficulties.
Stress. I think.
I mean, when a
it's
couple,
about money. It's
always
about
money.
If you have money, most of the problems can be solved.
Most lah.
I
would say most. So basically, I mean, for single parents, I feel that especially for single mothers who are actually, they have children of their own, in their family. I mean, they should actually, for them, they should be given the right basically to have a house of themselves. And one thing is about for single mothers especially, the parental benefits, the maternity benefits in the companies is actually reduced as compared to those married couples. But the rationale is for single parents, they will need to. I mean, they're taking care of the children. Them all alone by themselves, as compared to married couples. Why are they not given more benefits instead? It's not that we are encouraging singlehood. It's not that we are encouraging single parenthood. But basically over here, I think the government should basically put in place policies that can actually to help these single mothers as well. Especially when their children are after all Singaporean children. It's not like their sons don't serve in national service.
I think to sum it up, that everything has to be for the Singaporeans.
Correct, definitely.
Singaporeans come first in any aspect of life that in any privilege. It should be our local Singaporeans. This influx of these foreigners. Now, in terms of education, our children are very much disadvantaged by the foreign students coming here. They go in polytechnic, they enjoy the high subsidies and all. Now back to the CPF. I want to talk about CPF because CPF being the only so-called retirement.
The retirement scheme for Singapore. Retirement, but actually
the minute you step to working life, a big portion of your money will be tied down.
20%.
Okay, then you go to the plus employees. Okay, then part of this again goes to Medisave, Medishield, and all. Now, an average family, average income earner, when he goes to work at maybe your age 20, 25 or so, the next 20 years or so, he has to service the loan for his flat. Okay, then that leaves him. When he reached 45, 50 years old, how much is left? His little money left for the old age. And in between, if he has children, then that money would also be used to finance
Finance the children's education fund.
That leaves him again when he reaches 55, possibly
Hardly had enough besides
anything to go.
CPF.
And he got to start, and it's not easy for him after leaving a stable job, presuming that he gets a stable job, to go into another phase in life, in working life. He may become from a manager, going to become a security guard, become a taxi driver, or become a hawker.
Underemployment.
So this with the fact that now we're talking also about CPF, that you can't withdraw. Though it's your money, you cannot withdraw upon 55 like before. Now you have to wait till 65, and then they lock the money,
the CPF money into the
minimum sum,
right.
which is now 123,000.
Yeah, 123,000.
Now, how much was it when you first? The last few years I remember was very low.
In 2003 alone, right, minimum sum was $80,000. But now in 2011, it's $123,000. It's a 50% increase
Even
in 8 years' time.
In a span of 8 years.
Correct. They increased by 50%.
Okay.
And recently, the government actually released a report that less than 50% of the CPF owners are able to reach their minimum sum. This is a very worrying sign. And clearly, it's very clear that the CPF is not serving its purpose of providing a reliable retirement for the citizens.
I checked the CPF board at one time. I was just testing out, to find. I said, given the fact that if I have 123,000 in my CPF, presuming which I don't have, I pay
for a retirement account.
Okay. And how much would I get at the age of 65? Then the lady clicked on the computer and came out the figure. You will be able to withdraw 1,000. If you have a sum of 123,000, you should be able to withdraw 1,000 every month until the money is finished. Now it's not next year. Presuming you have lost a job at 55, and you have to wait for 10 years to just collect the $1,000, and you factor in the inflationary
rate of inflation.
Given then that 1,000 may become $400.
Correct.
The value. How can you then survive on that?
Correct.
Even being alone, not talking about you raising a family, just for yourself, and then you may fall sick, you may have a surgery, unless your surgery cost is back at $8.
Oh, okay. We are not ministers.
Now, there many people have turned to suicide. I think it's a very sad case. We think we have one of the highest suicide rates in the world. And why is our PAP government not having compassion to look at why the many families have become dysfunctional? Now with the casino even, I think the last 1 year, more social problems arise. Many have turned to suicide, turned to loan sharks.
Many people have actually gone into compulsive gambling. And even if the government they set up this what gambling no gambling I forgot what's that, this organization basically to curb compulsive gamblers. It hasn't been really that effective.
No, I think talking about gambling, it's the desperate people who actually hope to strike to have good luck.
Well, I don't know, for them is they've got nothing to lose already.
No, nothing to lose. Maybe they are desperate. Actually, when you are desperate, if you were a minister earning 200,000 a month, would you need to gamble?
Guess not.
You are steady income. Why you need to strike 4D to hope to strike $1,000 to get by? So we thought that also relates to disparity in wages. That in Singapore society, other than the minister's special class, then you have the middle class that we need to address, because this is a special class of people
which are sandwiched in between.
They are sandwiched in between, that they have high expectations, so to speak. Not actually high, because their children in Singapore, you have to send them for tuition, you have to learn this, you have to do that, and I don't know how as a child during your childhood, were you suffering from some kind of the stress? That in Singapore society, the education system is such that they force you to get all the grades.
I started tuition when I was in primary 1, all the way. Then
maybe you're lucky to afford that, but because I think many poor families, they cannot, because 1 hour I know from the current rate, to take one subject tuition, you may be you have to pay up to $40 per subject, per hour.
$40? I mean if you're paying the undergrad,
okay.
or professionals tuition teachers.
Now this is not a small amount. Imagine that your child has to take 2-3 subjects, the weaker subjects. And then the worst thing is, presuming your child goes through secondary, goes to pre-university, A-levels, or even diploma, how much money have you got to invest in his upbringing? So baby bonus can only address your little problem.
It's just a lump sum one-off issue. Okay. Yeah. And then it brings out to the point. It brings out to the point that what's wrong with our education system that all our students require tuition classes to supplement their learnings. Yeah.
And also they're lacking. I tell you, Singapore, why they say end of the day. I think Lee put it that we are not hard driving.
Oh yeah, we need a stick in our hearts.
Why? Now this education system has never been disrupted by opposition.
Correct.
The education ministers are all appointed by PAP, Prime Minister or the cabinet. Now, why you produce a class of citizens that you yourself say that they are not creative, they are not hardworking?
Not entrepreneurial.
I see. So it's a problem with the system itself. The educational system is not comprehensive enough. It's not good enough to produce the quality students. That's why you can say, you will bring in the foreign students, but these people are here for a short run. They are not going to sacrifice. And then our children, we spend so much money in nurturing them, we get displaced.
I see.
It's a very unfortunate thing, right? Don't you think so?
It's very hard for us not to believe that these foreign students are using our Singapore education system as a stepping stone to overseas, to study overseas. Especially when maybe let's just bring into this tertiary education. Okay, most of these foreign students are studying in NTU, NUS. Basically, they going through with their high school diplomas back in their own country. Then for our Singapore students, we understand that we need GCA level students, and basically only the top 5% of the polytechnic graduates are able to basically to qualify for universities. So just check with it. For me, I see the great disconnect between the foreign students and local students in their qualification for this university place. Because let's just say, if you are going to put all the foreign students from NTU and NUS into, you put them through A-levels, how many of them can pass?
That brings to mind actually, I've seen some of them, their writings and all that, and I think they cannot even put the sentences right.
But that brings a question of equality and meritocracy. Is this equality and meritocracy?
Now, talking about meritocracy, I think they would admit also that in certain areas of certain professions, it's not about the piece of paper.
Correct.
Now, we don't need an artist who is also a PhD holder.
And artists don't have to be good at maths and algebra or not need to know the history or social study politics.
We then say, hey, you are not thinking out of the box.
Correct.
Now, people who think out of the box, they may not be the so-called the elite that you want.
Correct.
Right. They may not be incidentally, I want to ask you a very interesting question. Now, in today's Singapore society, competitive society, you know how to become a millionaire? Have you seen the program called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You have to answer a few questions and then round by round you get round after round. Then you get into the jackpot. You get the silver jackpot. Now when you round one, and this is one of the more important rounds. Okay. Now for you, a young man, you're stepping out into working life. You know what's the magic word that can get you to become a millionaire? If you move.
For me to progress out the
corporate ladder, There's one magic word. You may not know, but many have succeeded because they know the magic word.
Yes.
And in the government, I'm talking. Give you a clue now. In the government civil service, there's one magic word in political arena. One special word that get you places.
Yeah, I know. Especially under the PAP.
Yes. Congratulations. You're on the way to become the next millionaire.
Okay.
Because if you pass round after that, I don't know how much is the ministers minimum the salary. Junior minister, senior minister.
I don't know. They have many rankings and so. But I know that actually the top ministers
3-4 million. I think now it's gone up to.
I'm not too sure, but just that they have this so-called minimum wage for our ministers. They actually peg peg they peg their salary to the average income of these top 6%
Professions,
top 8% from these 6 professions.
Oh.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, so you want you better say I stand corrected.
I stand corrected.
Okay.
Correct. I stand
It's
corrected.
a magic word also because this is an insurance clause. Because use this one, it's like 老生符啦.
Oh,
it's a
with
blessing.
yes and stand corrected, I'm very safe.
talisman. It's a special talisman word.
Okay. Alright, sure.
So now you got it right. You have a bright future.
Okay.
But in the opposition camp, we are not that. We're not aiming for that.
Yeah, we're not yes men.
If we should be voted into parliament, the yes word will come in when it's necessary, when it's right to say so. We will say no when the time is for us to say no, right?
Yeah. If the government is going to propose another 2% increase to our already budget, with our budget, we've already seen so much surpluses. We will definitely say no.
Yeah.
Basically, over here, what we are actually putting into the government, into the parliament, are actually credible and rational opposition members who are able to rationalize policies and debate policies in government. Basically, whether is it to stop constitutional changes or basically to propose new ideas that will further improve the lives of Singaporeans.
And we will not say no for the sake of saying no. We're not going there to just say no and
there's no such thing as opposing for the sake of opposing. Yeah, that's a very wrong.
By the way,
yeah.
Are you aware that this recent elections, especially the opposition camp, there are many very good candidates that should be voted into parliament?
Definitely.
To me, I'm impressed by the new slate of candidates.
In fact, I seen some of my personal heroes in this coming election. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Silver Lim actually. Yeah, but actually I think for this time round, talking about this election, we look at the candidates are fielded by some of these opposition parties. Especially, I think one thing to look at is especially Workers' Party.
They're very strong.
Because from not to say I don't mean anything. I mean Mr. Chen Xiu-Mao. I see the next prime minister in him.
This is your personal.
That's my personal view. Because from the 21 PAP candidates that actually the PAP introduced, to me I don't see any prime minister quality in them.
Then whoever is going to be of the caliber, now he has to prove his matter. Okay,
definitely.
And it's only if he's given a chance.
Correct.
If he's not given a chance to be in parliament, there's no way to gauge his qualities. Not unlike PAP, some of them jump on the bandwagon.
The Tanjong Pagar.
They go.
This doctor out of nowhere, you just put into then you become MP.
So I think voters will have to be realistic that unless you give that candidate a chance to prove his worth, there's no other way to gauge what he can do. Because he has to work just like you, right? He has to feed his family, bring food on the table, look after his children and family. He has to work. There's no way like giving up everything to serve. I think unless he's going to go into social work for a religious group, maybe So let's be realistic. So maybe today we think.
Maybe I'll just sum me up. Okay, basically I think every Singaporean will recognize the work of Mr. Chang Si-tong and Mr. Lau Tia-Kiang over the past 27 years in Parliament. So basically, it's just because of these two, my personal heroes. They have been doing such a good job defending Singapore, and they are speaking up for Singaporeans and truly representing the people in Parliament. Which is why now today we see 82 seats contested in this coming election, because people starting to realize the need of having an opposition voice to represent the Singaporeans in Parliament. This time round. So ultimately, our approach that basically I believe for Reform Party, it's not only for Reform Party, even for the Workers' Party. Many opposition the opposition in general. Okay, most of us we have to be realistic about this election. We will not be none of us is able to form the next government in this coming election. But what we can do for the people is basically we can send more Lau Kia-Kiangs and Cham Si-Tongs into the parliament.
Now there's a possibility not to rule that out that if a coalition.
We can form a coalition government as well.
Different parties coming together and form the majority, and to ensure the voters most voters are of the wrong notion, thinking that if the PAP is voted out, everything will go into chaos.
We will see a Taiwan parliament.
Now people fail to understand that the structure in this democracy. Now Singapore has got the British, inherited from the British, a very good administrative civil service, right? The institutions are there. Now even if we change the government, the perm secretaries in the respective ministry will be able to make sure things are run efficiently. Now this is without doubt. So there's no such thing, oh, you lose one minister, the whole country will collapse.
Correct.
It's all bullshit. No, it's no such thing. That's what the PAP would like you to believe.
I believe our Singapore civil service themselves,
they are good.
They're very capable.
Okay.
In fact, basically, actually, I believe that actually the PAP are actually taking credit of our civil service.
They take the credit and say, hey,
we are the one doing the job. No, actually.
Now, even I think even Ang Mo Kio, for Ang Mo Kio, they worry at Arjuni side. Just first Arjuni, they worry about losing Mr. BGO, minister, foreign minister, So I think similarly they have problems thinking, what if you lose the prime minister? But I think this is because PAP government they have stated that these coming elections they will find a new prime minister. Is that true? I think they have mentioned this.
They made a mention.
Yeah, they made a mention. Okay. Yeah. Now I think if you're a PMD, which I think we don't know. I mean, it depends on the voters' choice. Now, even if you to lose the PM, now PMD has got credentials in the financial side. They could easily fit into Temasek Holding, GIC, whatever it is, and then he could even go for presidential election because if he so I think voters shouldn't over worry. But then if I lose this, I lose that. Nothing is. The civil service is there.
Yeah, but to be realistic, I mean about this election, basically we Ang Mo Kio GRC team, we are coming in to give the report card that the Prime Minister Lee has been looking out for. Yeah, basically the Ang Mo Kio residents for Ang Mo Kio GRC, they should gauge for themselves what have the Prime Minister Lee, what have the Mr. Lee have been doing for this constituent for the past 5 years, and how he has performed on the national scale, national scale, and as well as constituency level.
Now ourselves been the Ang Mo Kio
GRC team.
team. Now we are entrusted to represent the voters, electorate, to let them have the rating. Now how they rate the PAP will be on the plate. It's not to whether about us candidate versus candidate. It's about how affected, how comfortable are these voters thinking the electorate, thinking the PAP, have they done a good job?
Correct.
How many points are you going to give them? To register the dissatisfaction, their resentment, dissent. They need a voice, and we are representing.
Yeah,
we are basically.
So basically, let's just say if this particular voter of this Ang Mo Kio voter, if he feels that the Prime Minister Lee has been performing better than let's just say performing better than 2006, then rightfully he should see his ratings going up.
So it is for the electorate, right?
Ultimately, we are just doing this for Ang Mo Kio GRC residents.
And I think we end on this note.
Yeah, we end on this note. So basically now we would like to cover basically on this 5-year master plan.
I think I leave you Alex to do
okay, sure.
So we will end on here, and then the next segment we can have one on you explaining to residents of Ang Mo Kio what we have installed in the 5-year plan, and see how they view this and how it will benefit them in the future.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for coming to the show. Yes, we will have other recording to be posted in YouTube about the 5-year plans of Mr. Alex Tan.